Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. This one we're doubling up on the Sentinel fighting armor. So here we have from X-Men, Cyclops and Magneto. Now these Sentinel fighting armor figures are kind of a what if scenario. What if Tony Stark had a suit for each one of the Avengers and related characters? So for Cyclops, Magneto, there's a Deadpool and Wolverine that are getting reissued. There's a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive X-Force, Deadpool. There's a couple of different characters and stuff. So my first venture out into the Sentinel fighting armor are Cyclops and Magneto. So big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for these figures so we can take a look for you here. Really, the Cyclops figure is what drew me in. Absolutely gorgeous figure. Like looking at pictures of it, just so good looking that I had to get my hands on it and check it out. And you can't just have Cyclops by himself. You got to have someone to kind of go along with him. And so here we have Magneto. Now, technically, I have kind of messed with the Sentinel fighting armor figure already. My son, a few weeks ago, did get the War Machine figure, and I played around with that very little. It was his figure, his to pose around and mess with and everything. He has it as his mom's house, all posed up. So, I'm kind of going into this pretty new, so I don't have a whole lot going into it. But I am excited for them. So, looking at Cyclops and Magneto, the box, we just get this up-close look at the portraits for there. Each side we get some artwork there. Cyclops, Magneto, same thing going on there. Looking at the back of the package, we actually get a look at the figure and some of the accessories and things that they actually have that come along in there. But again, I'm really excited to take a look. Each one does have a window box, so if we open it up, like here you can see Cyclops, we got to look at the figure, and then you can see the figure in there. He is wrapped in plastic, but you can see the different hands that he comes with, different visor pieces there, which is cool, and we have that optic blast effect, which is awesome. Magneto does have a soft goods cape, which is great, and he does have these magnetic effect pieces here, so there's an awesome image. So again, very excited to take a look at these. There are some die-cast parts to them, which are really cool, so that is awesome. But make sure to check out Big Bad Toy Store for all your action figure collecting needs, including the Sentinel fighting armor. So links in the video description below to these two figures specifically, as well as the entire line. There is only one that is currently listed as sold out, and that is the Punisher War Machine version. But anyway, let's go ahead and get these out. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so to start, before we get really deep dive into it, Magneto's cape, as you can see here, comes with an instruction sheet, and then each figure does have this base piece, so we'll take a look at all of that for these two figures. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button now. I'm trying to reach 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're getting closer and closer. So if you're a fan of any of my action figure reviews and would like to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button now. Okay, just look at this Magneto. Like my first venture into the Sentinel fighting armor figures, and my goodness, how impressive they are. How cool they are. How good looking they are. How well they move. Just the fun factor, everything about these figures. So much coolness going on here. I am absolutely loving it. Like, so this Magneto figure, and I am not a photographer person, but I try to do some things. Like, I got some lights going on here, and some things, right? Just such a good looking figure. Oh my god. I'm having a lot of fun. And all I did was put it into one single pose and do some lighting things. The energy effect pieces on here are just so cool. They're clear, they're translucent purple, just all kinds of good things on them. The cape on this guy is insane. The sculpted details of the armor, you know, it's very Magneto, like the gauntlet pieces, the boot pieces, that's just like Magneto would wear. These figures are so good. So good. So here, I'm going through the photography stuff to get it out of the way. So this is kind of the first clip, so you can see how cool Magneto looks. Let's go ahead and move on to Cyclops. And again, Cyclops, to me, something about the blue and gold of Cyclops just screams like best looking action figure I've seen in I don't know how long. I was highly anticipating it, and I got it. He does not disappoint. But let's see if I can make as much magic happen with that figure as I feel like I did here with Magneto. But you guys let me know, what do you think of this shot here of Magneto? I think I did pretty good. It's extremely basic. I know. But I like to think I did something pretty cool here. Okay, so this one was a little bit tricky. Like the actual pictures that I took, you will not see the lights there. So I had to kind of fit him in frame here. But man, the Cyclops figure also I'm really impressed by these Sentinel fighting armor figures. Like I haven't even messed with any of the Sentinel Spider-Verse figures. I've heard such good things about all of those. So these are my first Sentinel figures, and then it's a different line, and they're not movie figures, they're not Spider-Man figures. They're like Iron Man type figures, right? These are Marvel characters in Tony Stark armor. And that's just a really cool concept. I mean, there's a Thor, there's Captain America, there's a Sam Wilson Captain America coming. There is a War Machine, there's Iron Man, of course, Loki, Thor, which I probably have repeated some of those, Wolverine, Deadpool, I think there's a Black Panther also. So you guys let me know down in the comments below if you think you're going to be interested in seeing me review some of those other Sentinel fighting armor figures. Maybe I'll pick up one or two each month and kind of go from there and see. But man, I'm absolutely loving them. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Just on my one little shot here, what do you think of the Cyclops so far? But let's go ahead and get these figures off of the stand. Let's go over the articulation, the details, all of that good stuff. But I'm telling you right now, very, very impressive figures. Very cool, very good looking. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here we go. I took some pictures. I think that were pretty good. Again, I'm not much of a photographer, but I do try and put in some effort a little bit here and there. Not always, but I do try from time to time. But man, these figures are just so unbelievably nice. We're going to go over one by one. I'm going to start with Cyclops just because I think he looks the best. Magneto is amazing. He's got the cape, which is like ridiculous the way it is and everything. Like ridiculous in a good way. Let me clear that up. But I really love the Cyclops figure because something about the blue and the gold together just look really nice. So we'll go over the accessories that he comes with, which is pretty nice. We have the optic blast. We have like the smoke type effect. So a couple of swappable visor pieces to do that. But some really cool things. So we'll go ahead and knock that out. First, I want to talk about these stands. The stands are cool. The stand's a little tricky to get this weird piece back here. You got to pop out one of these clear pieces and then put this in and then slide this thing in. You can do that. I mean, it's not terrible. The figures peg into the back, so there's actually a peg hole in the back of the figures, and then you could just peg them onto the stand there. The stands also have the claw piece. I don't think this claw is going to hold these figures because these guys are heavy. They have some die cast to them, so they are heavy. But it does have the claw there if you want to do it. So stands are cool, but let's get the stands out of the way because it's not about the stands, it's about the figures. So let's get in for the closer look on Cyclops, and then we'll take a look at Magneto. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Cyclops. Oh, what a beautiful figure. I just absolutely love the metallic blue, and it's like this... It's like this royal blue. There's like a little bit of a greenish hue, I think, in the camera, like how it's going to look, like depending on your TV or whatever. It may look super blue, but like in hand, there's like almost like a turquoise-ish look to it. In my camera as I'm looking at it, it's like super royal blue, but it just looks great. The metallic look to it, the shiny metallic gold, man, it's just, it's absolutely gorgeous. We get some silver parts in there. We get some gold parts on there, not just the yellowish, but you can see there's 2 shades of gold in the boot pieces. Just really good. A little bit of black and red on some of those areas, like on the gauntlet and then on the knees and stuff. Just gorgeous design. Like, oh man, whoever designed these, just crazy, because these aren't based on like anything from the comic and anything from the comics specifically. They're just designs in the toys and just so good. We got the X logo there on the belt, and then we get the Jim Lee style strap up here, the X-Men logo there. Just so good. Looking at the back of the figure, man, I just absolutely love it. Look at that. We even get these pieces that kind of fold out there. Oh, man. I'm gushing over this figure because I think it just looks so gosh darn good. Man. Incredible. I absolutely love it. The swappable pieces. So this is the standard visor piece there, as you can see. And then to swap it out, you can just kind of grab it or put your fingernail in there to kind of pull that piece out, and then you just open it up on that visor piece. We get 2 other visor pieces, so you have this one here, and this is going to be the one for like the smoke effect type piece, so you can slip that visor back in there. And then I'm not going to lie to you, this one was a little bit tricky because there's the little tiny spot there that this smoke piece is going to peg into, so you have to just get it right at the right angle to really be able to get it in. there we go. And so here we have Cyclops, and like just after he used his optic blast there, so you have the smoke kind of coming out, and that is a really nice feature. I love that. Earlier, what you had seen with the optic blast effect piece, you get that third visor piece that just has a little slit in there, so you can actually put that in there. So you can actually, like, say you want to remove that, you could use that there. It's very subtle. You wouldn't really be able to notice it. So you can just kind of take it off and leave that visor on if you wanted to. This one's kind of the same thing. Like if you put it on here, you can't really tell. Like you can, but you can't. Like it's subtle. So even if you take that optic blast out, it still looks like a normal Cyclops, right? You can see it's a little bit larger in the front, sure, but that really works. And then you get the optic blast piece, and then you just peg it right on into there, and then there you have the optic blast, and that is just really nice. I love the way that came out looking. So there we go. So now let's look at the additional accessories that Cyclops comes with. So we have the stand, and then we have some extra hands. So he has fist hands out of the package. We also get some thumbs up hands. So you get left and right thumbs up. You get left and right 2-finger hands. So you can actually do this to where, he's using his visor type of deal. And then you have kind of these open gesturing hands there. So those are definitely a nice touch. So that is Cyclops. Now let's go ahead and move on into Magneto. Okay, and here we have the Magneto, another gorgeous figure. I say gorgeous, it sounds kind of weird, but they're beautiful. These things just came out so nice. I just absolutely love them. So here we could see Magneto, a couple of things. So the faceplate in there is black. We get the standard Magneto-esque helmet there with kind of the purple outline for kind of that facial opening, or what would be, and then kind of that crown portion there in this kind of like this dark burgundy color. And we get that dark burgundy color in a couple of areas, like his neck, a little bit in the shoulder, here in the chest, in the elbows, and then along the knees as well. So a lot of great things. But what I was talking about, like those Magneto, the pure Magneto design, so like the boots with the open line work boots in there, as you could see, very Magneto, which is cool. We get a little bit of gunmetal in there, which is nice. The bright, vibrant red, I like. A little bit more gunmetal in there. Just so nice. A nice metallic purple, too. I love the purple on there. Just really, really, really good. I guess this would be kind of like the arc reactor type space. It's just kind of like these clear, like white spots in there that would just kind of be glowing in a way. These shoulder pads are separate. You can take them off, but then he looks a little funny, when they're not there. They don't hold on super well. They pop off, if like you're trying to move the arm in a certain way. They'll pop off nice and easily, so you don't have to worry about breaking them or anything like that. So just a heads up. But yeah, just so good looking. And then the cape, as you can see here, we get this crazy piece on here that holds that cape. And the way it works is you can actually move that cape out, so you can get it to flare out as much as you need. It's got the bendy wire in there, so you could just use the bendy wire to do it as well. But man, you get that thing. And then you can kind of move this around. So as you can see on the back of the Magneto figure, we have that gunmetal in there. The cape actually pegs in there, so you have 4 different peg holes, and you have 2 pegs. So I guess theoretically you could do like one up here and then one down there. So depending on like the pose that you're doing, I would say, because those 2 pegs can also move independent of each other. Let me see if I can get that out. Let's see if we could peg that in, because I wonder if, like, how you want it to flare out would change. No, I guess you can't really peg it in there, but you could peg either down below, or you could peg it on the top pegs. So however you want to do it, depending on where you want, that cape to really be. So you can peg it in those different areas. But as you can see there, just a nice vibrant purple to it. And then here you have the back of the figure there, and a couple of things. So, like the design elements, there's some basic things where you could see that they're kind of all similar. Like in the back of the legs, you could see where they really went similar. And then here in the torso piece, you can see some similarities in there. And the hip piece as well. But then each one does get its own little different sculpting work to it, like the boots, obviously, for Magneto, and then the straps that Cyclops would have. But the design elements are very similar. So like this panel portion there, you could see Cyclops would kind of have that panel portion there. The upper biceps, the upper arms are very similar as well. The elbow joints might be the same, but the gauntlet pieces are going to be different. So it's some clever reuse, I would say, in there, along with some new sculpted work that's going to be specific to certain characters and things. So lots of great stuff. But now let's go ahead and check out the articulation on these two guys to see how well they move. And they do move very well. They remind me a little bit of 3-0 DLX figures, the Infinity Saga figures. So there's some similarities to those. They're not exactly going to be the same, but some similarities for sure. So let's go ahead and check those out. Okay, so before we get into the articulation, I do want to talk about the accessories that each of them, that Magneto comes with. So we get fists out of the package. We get these two really cool magnetic energy effect pieces here. You can see they're slightly translucent purple. You got a center, like whitish center, and you kind of have the swirl effect. Oh, here's the outside, that swirl effect there in that white center. This side, you can see there's a little bit of a peg hole. So what we actually do is we get two of these hands here where there's a peg hole on the hand, so then you could just peg that energy effect right to the hand, and that's how he does the effect piece. So it pegs right in there, and that looks really good. So again, we get those two peg hands, two of these effect pieces. We get two open gesturing hands, as you can see here. They're wide open there. And then we get two like flat hands as if he's going to get ready to use those magnetic energy pieces, but these are just minus the pegs in there. So those are the accessories, and then of course the cape for Magneto. So now let's go ahead and check out the articulation. Okay, so articulation for Cyclops. So the head, he can look all the way up, which is fantastic. He can look all the way down that much. There is a separate neck piece in there that does have some gap once you kind of lift it up, which I don't like that gap, but you get some really good motion in there, some crazy pivot. You can kind of round it about. You could swivel on the head. It feels like it doesn't want to swivel all the way. You swivel with that neck, and it kind of... Look at that, kind of got stuck there. But it's enough realistic movement of where that head's going to go, which is great. The shoulder, you can get to go straight on out. You can do a full rotation in there. There is a little bit of a butterfly joint in there. It doesn't really allow you to go back too far. It doesn't really allow you to come forward too far for some crossbody, but it can get some circular motion in there with that shoulder, of course. And then you have the upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed elbow like so. Wrists are on a ball peg, so you can hinge the hands a little bit, not a huge amount of hinge, unfortunately, and then you could swivel them around, and then you could always like turn the ball in there, which is a little bit easier said than done. You almost have to like, whoops, that hand is gone. I lost it. He's gone. The way I had to kind of hinge the hand down a little bit, and it's kind of difficult to pop these hands right back on because they're ball peg, but it's a little ball peg. So I hinge the hand and then force the twist of the the wrist to be able to hinge it the way that you want it to be able to hinge it. So just a heads up on that. We get a couple of points of articulation in the torso. So we have the upper torso and a ball joint at the waist. So in total, you can get Cyclops to tilt to his left that much, which is great. You can get him to tilt to his right that much there, which is great. And then leaning back, you can lean back very far, and then coming forward is only so far there. But again, guy in a metal suit, like how much could he actually possibly move? I think that is a very realistic amount there. So just a heads up on that. We have this drop down feature on these legs. They drop down that much there. Reminds me of like a little bit of 3-0, kind of these ball joint hips, but with the drop down so they can actually work out quite well. So when you drop down that hip and you kick forward, you can kick forward very far, and then you can actually kick back really far as well, and then getting the leg all the way to the side, which is great. So we have all that movement there. And then, of course, upper thigh cut in there. It's a little stiff on that swivel, but you can swivel around. Then you get the double jointed knee like so. And then you have ankle ball in there, so you could swivel that ankle around. You can hinge it down a little bit. You can hinge it up a little bit as well. And then you actually have toe articulation in there. And then this flap can kind of move around as you kind of need for that foot there. So really good articulation for Cyclops there. And if we want to take a look at Magneto, some things are going to be very similar, but there are some differences. He's got the shoulder pads in there. The shoulder pads are going to constantly hit this cape portion when you want to move that arm around, and it's just going to knock those goes off. So let's say we take the cape off and we want to kind of move this guy around. The same points of articulation when it comes to the head, how much he can move, how much he can actually look up a lot more, actually. Look down. Oh, I forgot to mention the swivel at that upper torso, by the way. I don't think I mentioned it on the Cyclops figure. So you could swivel at that upper torso, but really the same points. I get a little bit of gap in this one on that torso, but you could tilt to the left that much there. You could tilt to the right that much there. It's almost like the centerpiece is actually just kind of a floating piece in there, but I think that works out well. Crunching forward is about the same amount. Going back, if anything, maybe he can actually go back a little bit more than Cyclops, which is great. There. The arm, whoops, pop that shoulder pad. See, pop that shoulder pad off. You can get the arm to go on out, straight on out, full rotation in there. Same similar butterfly setup in there. Upper bicep swivel as well, double jointed elbow there. Wrist swivel and hinge around on that ball joint. You get the drop down hips on the leg. Can kick forward very far, which is great. It goes back extremely far as well. And then off to the side for full on splits. Swivel at that thigh. Double jointed knee, like so. You get the wrist, the ankle ball in there, so you could swivel it around, hinge down, hinge up, and then peg hole or toe articulation there. And I think the feet are actually the same on the two. Yes, so they actually share the same feet. So there we go. So there is some reuse between the figures, but there's enough in the designs and the colors to really make them feel new and unique. So a lot of really cool things that move around a lot better than you may think that they could, for the, these figures that are, characters in these big armor pieces and things like that. So lots of really good stuff. So you guys let me know what you think of the articulation of these figures. I think they are really good. Let's get this cape back on so we have our full Magneto look there. And there we go. So Cyclops and Magneto. Okay, so looking at side-by-side comparisons, here we have the 3.0 DLX Iron Man Mark V from the Iron Man 2 movie. As you can see there, the 3.0 DLX figures are a 7-inch scale, even though they're kind of labeled as a 1/12 scale. They're a little bit bigger than that. So the Sentinel fighting armor, a little bit smaller, so kind of a 6.5 inch, I would say, not quite 6 inch. So not quite, these don't really quite fit in scale-wise. Well, there. When we look at like comparisons to Marvel Legends, it's kind of a funny story. So if we look at like here between the Marvel Legends Cyclops figures, you can see they're about the same height. But if we look at the fighting armor Magneto along with the X-Men 97 Magneto, and this soft goods cape is throwing me off there. You can see there's a big size difference between the two. Like the Sentinel fighting armor is a lot taller than that Magneto. So for whatever reason, and I'm looking at Cyclops and Magneto, like Cyclops towers over Magneto. So they kind of fit in a little bit. So if you wanted to say like, hey, you have these characters and they put on an Iron Man type suit, I guess that could kind of work, other than, like Cyclops' head being way bigger than what would fit in there. But, use your imagination. It can be fun. Okay, so that is my review of the Sentinel fighting armor Magneto and Cyclops. These are two pretty new. Cyclops is a little bit newer than Magneto, but still Magneto is still pretty new. They're both in stock at BigBadToyStore.com, so links in the video description below if you're looking at picking them up. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of these figures? Do you think they're ones that I should continue collecting the line? Would you like to see reviews of some of the other characters? I mean, there's a Captain America, there is the Iron Man, of course, there's Thor, there's Loki, there's the War Machine that my son has. There's a Black Panther. There is the X-Force version of Deadpool, which is exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store in the US. Wolverine and Deadpool are getting reissued because of, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And there is a Sam Wilson Captain America figure that's going to be coming out. So I am interested in those new ones that are going to be coming out. But if you'd like to see reviews of some of those figures that are a little bit older and have been in stock for a while, you guys let me know down in the comments below which one you would like to see. And then maybe next month I can get some more and review them for you guys. I'm really impressed by these figures for sure. The diecast in them is nice. It's subtle. I think there's going to be in some of the inner workings and things like that. Maybe some of the legs. It adds some nice weight to them. These figures are sturdy with a lot of really good articulation, but the paintwork is just incredible on there. The metallic purple of Magneto, the metallic blue and gold of Cyclops. Just absolutely great. There's accessories to swap out the hands and some energy effects like the Cyclops optic blast, the Magneto, magnetic energy shield things, I guess it would be. Just really good stuff. The stands are really nice too, because then you can get them into some really cool poses. You guys let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on these figures, and if you're looking to pick them up, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. Getting close to the 50,000 subscriber goal for the end of the year. We got a little bit less than 2 months to go, around 1,200 plus subscribers to go. So it's getting close, but I think we can make it. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button now. As always, guys, thank you for watching.